Hello everybody, my name is James, hope you're doing well and welcome back to another video, and today we're going to be talking about Oscar Piastri's qualifying in Las Vegas as well as verdicts that have been issued. If you enjoyed the video, make sure to leave a like and subscribe for more Formula 1 content. Also make sure to follow me and exit James's pit lane, I'll leave a link in the description, but let's jump straight into the video. So let's start with Piastri, and it wasn't a great qualifying for him in Las Vegas, with him only going 5th fastest, whilst his two title rivals Lando Norris and Max Verstappen line up P1 and P2 on the grid for the Grand Prix tomorrow. Now, as we know, Piastri has been on a poor run of form since the Dutch Grand Prix at the end of August. Following that Grand Prix, he had a 34-point lead in the standings over his teammate Norris, but now going into the Las Vegas Grand Prix, he's now 24 points behind Norris, having failed to stand on the podium at each of the last 5 events, and now needs a turnaround to stop that run continuing in Las Vegas. Now, Piastri did outpace Norris in Q1. It actually looked like Norris could get knocked out in Q1, but he just made it through. Then Norris found his form in Q2, and it was Piastri who just made it through Q2. And in Q3, they were trading fastest times, and Piastri said, as quoted by the race, in Q1 I felt very good, Q2 a few little wobbles, but Q3 I felt good again, and I feel like things were coming to us pretty nicely. Now, due to the rain, qualifying was all about track evolution, especially in Q3, given the rain had stopped and drivers had moved from full wet to intermediate tyres. And Piastri did hold provisional pole in the first part of Q3, but of course there were rapid improvements, and Norris improved and was almost 6/10 faster than Piastri as they began their final laps. And while Piastri's last lap was probably not going to be enough for pole position, it looked like a lap that could be P2 or P3 on the grid. However, he could not complete the lap because of a yellow flag. Basically, Charles Leclerc made a mistake and Piastri was just a couple of corners behind him, and Piastri therefore had to slow down. And Piastri said, as quoted by the race, "It's a massive guessing game, especially in these conditions where you're improving. It's tough. Where I saw the yellow flag, it's a blind corner, so I don't know if there's a car stopped somewhere that I'm going to have to do something suddenly. There's obviously a lot of risks involved in trying to game the system and lose enough time. It is what it is, but I think I couldn't have really done much. And if I tried to keep pushing, it would have been a pretty big risk." So yeah, Piastri does have work to do in the Grand Prix tomorrow. Meanwhile, Carlos Sainz in the Williams had a great qualifying, with him going 3rd fastest. Now, as we know, Sainz had a slow start to the season, but fair play, he's really improved in the second half of the season, has put in some really good performances, and as we know, he got a podium in Baku, he finished P3 in the sprint race in Austin, and he could be on for a really good result in Las Vegas as well. And speaking about qualifying P3, Sainz said, "I'm always optimistic. I always try to think of myself doing well. The track suited our car in the dry. In the wet in FP3, we didn't look very promising, but we made some changes to the car that helped in the wet, which allowed me to go fastest in Q1, Q2. On the intermediates, I knew the others would catch up a bit. I'm happy with P3. I would have loved to have been on pole, but we were not quite there." However, Sainz was at risk of losing that P3 due to a potential penalty. Basically, following qualifying, he was investigated for allegedly rejoining the track unsafely. Basically, Sainz went down the runoff area at turn 5 and came back on the track towards the path of Lance Stroll. So yeah, this was investigated by the stewards. However, Aston Martin had no issues with Sainz's actions, so the stewards deemed no action was necessary. The stewards said in their verdict, the team representative of car 18 stated that the rejoining of car 55 did not cause any issue to the driver of car 18, and stated that his driver did not consider the manoeuvre to be unsafe on the part of the driver of car 55. In view of the above and the poor visibility due to the adverse weather conditions, plus the presence of yellow flags, we determined to take no further action. So Sainz keeps that P3, and I think he could be on for a good race tomorrow. What do you think? Let me know in the comments below. But let's move on to Lewis Hamilton, and as we know, he had a really difficult qualifying in Las Vegas. In practice, Ferrari looked good, but yeah, in qualifying, the pace was just not there, and Hamilton only ended up in last place. Now, following qualifying, there was some initial confusion about whether Hamilton had crossed the line in time to put in a final lap and whether there had been a communication issue with the team. However, Hamilton clarified that it was red as he crossed the line, with Hamilton saying, "I had a yellow flag in the last corner, and then going into turn 17, there was a yellow flag, and then I had to lift, came across the line, and it was red, but I didn't have the grip anyway, so I don't think it would have made much difference." But just to add to a difficult day for Hamilton, he has been fined by the stewards. Basically, he was found to have sped in the pit lane going 80.1 kilometers per hour, and the pit lane speed limit is 80 kilometers an hour, and as a result, Hamilton was fined €100, with the steward's verdict saying car 44 exceeded the pit lane speed limit, which is set at 80 kilometers an hour for this event, by 0.1 kilometers an hour. But that's going to be the video from me today. Thank you ever so much for watching. Make sure to like and subscribe for more videos, and until the next one, take care. Bye.